What's up YouTube? Welcome back to Cilio's Network. In my last video, we talked about the Aichi Champions League 2020 where Sword and Shield was standard format legal for the first time over in Japan in a major tournament, and we looked at that meta and some of the top performing decks. Today we're going to look at more of a rogue deck or a less popular deck that did pretty well there. I'll have two lists up here, one list from the Aichi's Champions League and also another one from Twitter that was doing well elsewhere in Japan. But first, I'd like to shout out PotonStore.com. You can use code Cilio for 5% off there. They specialize in PTCGO codes that are automatically emailed out upon purchase. And also shout out to FlipsideGaming.com, where I write free articles, and you can use code Cilio all caps for 10% off on any order there, $10 or more. So just a quick refresher, maybe you haven't seen my last video on the Japanese meta, maybe you have, but this is the pie chart, and this is from PokemonCardJP.com.au. They're a great resource for Japanese information translated over to English, and this was the top 70 deck distribution. So the less popular or rogue deck that I'll be looking at today is Magcargo-GX. And that's because Magcargo-GX has been around for a while, and it's interesting that it's getting some play now. And I've been seeing that it's doing well in Japan in like their league tournaments or their equivalent of league cups. I forget what they're called at the moment. But I've been seeing that it's been picking up some wins and top cuts in those kind of tournaments, and it's at least getting some attention over there. So I think it's cool that a deck or a card that's been out for a while has its own deck now, and we'll be looking at why. So this is from howhow-news.com. They have some information about the Aichi Champions League 2020 as well over there. And this I didn't put into an actual list, but this is just a picture of a list. This was in top 16 over there. And so the Magcargo-GX, like I said, it's an older card, and the Magcargo, the non-GX, is an older card as well. But it's actually interesting because the new Aranguru that there's two of in this deck allows you to look at the top card of your... I'm sorry, not look at the top card of your deck. So you get to replace a card from your hand with the top card of your deck. And that's really cool because Magcargo from Lost Thunder allows you once a turn to search your deck for a card and put it on top of your deck. And then Magcargo-GX allows you to discard the top card of your deck, and if it's a fire energy, you can attach it to Magcargo-GX. So there's just a ton of things happening here with the top card of your deck that's really cool. And so you can either use Magcargo, non-GX, and Aranguru to draw into a card you need right away, like your Welder or something, or you can use it to combo with Magcargo-GX and accelerate an energy. So this next list I have, it's very similar actually. This is from Talonite X on Twitter, at Talonite X, and this is from one of the smaller tournaments. It's a result from one of the smaller tournaments I found this list, and I actually made this list with PalPad. Shout out to PalPad. It's a new app for iOS, iPod, iPhone systems. And you can get the no ads and exportable version for 99 cents. And I think it's really cool. It's still in the works, so it's not 100% perfect, but you can even use new Sword and Shield cards with it too. So I just wanted to spotlight this app for a second. And the name's right there, PalPad, and that's what the logo looks like. And you can export images like this super easy. It took me less than 10 minutes to make this list and export it, send it to my email, download it to my computer, put it in this video. It's very, very handy. So anyway, back to Magcargo-GX. So looking at this deck, we've got the Magcargo-GX, like I said, and the Magcargo and the Aranguru that all have synergy with each other. And then there's also the Torkoal V, which the first attack for Fire colorless does 90. Discard the top card of your deck. If it's an energy, then it does 90 plus. So 90 plus 90. So it'll do a total of 180 for 3 energy. Which isn't amazing, but remember the V cards aren't, it looks like they're not trying to make the V cards overpowered like they did with GX cards. And then its second attack for Fire colorless does 120 and discard 2 energies from the opposing Pokemon, which is actually a very cool and kind of tempo-oriented attack. I like it a lot. But let's talk about why Magcargo-GX might be good now and it wasn't previously. So, of course, the Oranguru is one reason, but I think the rule change that the player going first on their first turn cannot play supporters has a lot to do with this. So previously, Reshizard had Welder, and it could just go Welder turn 1, Welder turn 2, start blowing things up. Mewtwo and Mew, the fire variant, Welder turn 1, Welder turn 2, start blowing things up. Even if it's not with one of those tag teams, there's things like the Turtonator from Dragon's Majesty, Victini Prism, just basic Pokemon that are doing a lot of damage, and Magcargo-GX is an evolution. And evolution Pokemon have been getting the blunt end of the stick for a while now with the Welder standard format. So I think with this new rule, it allows, if you go first with Magcargo-GX, let's say we're going first, it's our first turn, we can set up a couple Slugmas and pass to our opponent. They go, they play their supporters, whatever, and then us on our second turn, we get to evolve into our Magcargo, start Weldering. Now, if our opponent went first and they get to Welder, and then we go and we just have Slugmas, nothing else. And then they go and they get to play another Welder with their Reshizard deck or their Mewtwo deck, and they have 6 energy on the board already, and we just have Slugmas and nothing else. That's really, really bad. So I think the balancing with this new turn 1 no supporter going first rule can help evolution decks like Magcargo-GX, and Magcargo-GX also got some new tools with Sword and Shield. The Oranguru, I think, is definitely very, very important for the deck. It's really cool. I love Oranguru. It also in Zacian. I think it'll just be a cool card overall. And evolution decks also got Quick Ball to help get the non-GX Pokemon that they evolve from. Of course, Quick Ball helps basic decks too, but basic tag team decks already had Cherish Ball to just get their main Pokemon. Quick Ball helps us get out our non-GX pre-evolutions like Slugma, and that's really, really important for the deck. So there's just a ton of search for decks like this now, which I think is great for creative deck building and more a bigger variety of decks potentially, and maybe we'll see more evolution decks doing well. So just looking at some of the new cards, if you don't know what they do, we already talked about the Torkoal, we talked about the Oranguru. The Quick Ball is discard 1 card from your hand, search for a basic Pokemon, and put it to your hand. Marnie, the supporter card next to Cynthia, is both players shuffle their hand and then put those cards at the bottom of the deck. You draw 5 and your opponent draws 4. So it's kind of like Judge, kind of like N, but the cards in your hand go to the bottom of the deck. Which is really cool because, like, if you know your opponent's holding on to something, you can force them to put it to the bottom of the deck. And then the other new card in the deck is Evolution Incense, which simply just searches for an evolution Pokemon card. No discarding effects, no drawbacks. So that's the deck. This is, like I said, 2 Magcargo-GX decks, and they're very, very similar to each other, but I made this one with PalPad. Shout out to howhow-news.com, TaloniteX on Twitter, and also PokemonCardJP.com.au. And shout out to PalPad. Shout out to everyone for this. I'll link the sites below, and also, like I said, I highly suggest checking out PalPad as a deck building app on your phone, especially if you're a content creator, and especially if you want to make new decks with Sword and Shield cards, and especially if you want to share images with your friends like this. I think it's super handy. Jared is working on a bunch of stuff with the app, and I definitely wanted to spotlight it a bit for him on the channel. This is not sponsored or anything. I just think it's a great app because I've been thinking how much I need something like this to just easily make images for videos and to share with my friends when I'm making a new format deck. And Jared happened to make it, so shout out to him. And like I said, definitely check out PalPad. It's a great app, and it's only 99 cents for the premium, no ad version. It's a one-time payment. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video on Magcargo-GX, and I'll be continuing to make more videos on Sword and Shield cards as we get closer. It should be a pretty fun and exciting time for the TCG with the new base set coming out. VGC is just booming with the new Sword and Shield video games, so hopefully we can see something like a TCG boom like we did kind of with Sun and Moon. So subscribe if you enjoyed the video and you'd like to see more. Leave a like, that always helps, and I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.